Together we're going to complete the Linear 1-3 test review to help you prepare for your test. The first part asks us to find the slope of each representation. When we have them in a table, we need our delta y over delta x, which is the change in y over change in x. You can use any 2 points on the table. I prefer positives, so I'm going to say from 0 to 10.5 is plus 10.5. From 0 to 7 is plus 7. You take this delta y, so 10.5 over 7, and when we divide those two numbers, we get 1.5. If we were to click Math, Enter, Enter, it would be the equivalent to 3 over 2. Either answer is appropriate for the slope for this first table. The second one, we have 2 points. You could use point slope form, which is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, or you could put them in a table. -9, 6, and 3, 2. Then it becomes just like the last problem. From 6 to 2 is a -4. From -9 to 3 is plus 12. So we take -4 over 12, which reduces to -1/3. That's the slope of the second one. For the final table, from -5 to -17.5 is -12.5. From 2 to 7 is plus 5. So we take -12.5 over 5, which equals -2.5. If you math enter, enter, it's -5 over 2. So either of those is an appropriate slope for that final table. Which one has the same slope as y equals 9 minus 5 over 2x? To be able to decide the answer, you first have to identify which part is the slope. The slope is your coefficient to x, so this -5 over 2. Now that we know what the slope is, it's easy to tell which one had the same slope. So number 3 had the same slope. On number 2, Kelly has 12 cookies and is baking more cookies each hour that can be modeled by the equation y equals 12 plus 3x. What is the slope and what does it represent? This 12 right here is our y-intercept. That's the cookies that she started off with. This 3, which is next to our x, like we discussed before, is the slope. On your test tomorrow, this will help you eliminate at least 2 answer choices if you can identify which part is the slope. Then we have to decide what it represents. We're talking about the cookies each hour. Anytime you see that each or per or for every, that's what tells you your slope. So the slope is 3, and it represents the cookies per hour, or each hour. Number 3, graph the situation below. Tommy has sold 4 cars this month at Happy Nissan. Each week he plans on selling 3 more cars. So starting off, he's already sold 4 cars. 1, 2, 3, 4. Before he's even starting to count. He's already sold 4. And then each week, so after 1 week, he plans to sell 3 more cars. So now he's at 7 cars. After 2 weeks, he would then be at 10 cars. So I'm going up 1, 2, 3 over 1. Now, should I connect this graph? Is it continuous or is it discrete? Can you sell half of a car? No. You can either sell 1 car, 2 cars, 3 cars. So no, this is never going to be a continuous function. This is discrete. So you shouldn't connect your dots. What was the slope? Here we're talking about each week he's selling 3. Just like before, when you have that each, that tells you the slope. The slope is 3. And the y-intercept is wherever he's starting. So he's starting at 0, 4, which is the number of cars that he had already sold. On number 4, it first wants us to find the x and the y intercepts. I'm going to find two pretty points. So here's a point and here's a point. I'm going up 1 over 1, 2. So my slope is 1/2. I can continue that same trend. I can either go up 1 over 2, or I can go down 1 and left 2. Once we have it graphed, we can answer the questions. What's another point on the line? You could choose any point that we've currently plotted. I'm going to pick a random point. I'm going to say -2, -8. Write the equation in slope-intercept form. This is y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, which we said was 1/2, so 1/2 x. And b is the y-intercept, which looking at the graph is here at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, -7. Now it wants it in point-slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. That's the formula we're going to use. I'm going to use the point we already provided. So y minus a -8 becomes +8 equals the m, same as above, is 1/2, parentheses x minus, and to make it a -2, it becomes +2. And that's it in point-slope form. Going back to the x and y intercepts, this intercept is at 0, -7. And if we were to continue, we'd go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. It would be at 14, 0. Moving on to the back, sketch a line with a y-intercept of 4. So my y-intercept is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it has a slope of -1/2. That's your rise over your run. To rise -1, I'm going to go down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. And that's your first line. It then wants us to sketch a line with a 0 of -5. A 0 is an x-intercept. So I'm going to go to -5 on my x-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it has a slope of 2 over 5. So I'm going to go up 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up 2, 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's my second line. What is the equation in slope-intercept form? So here we need the slope, which we already said was 2/5. And we need the y-intercept, which looking at my graph is at 2. So that's your equation. Part 6, list the characteristics of proportional functions. This is what we did on Monday. It must be linear, go through the origin, and it has a constant y over x. Anytime we take the y value divided by the x value, we'll get the same number. An example, I'm going to go easy and do a graph. As long as it is linear and going through the origin, it's an example. If I was to do an equation, we could do y equals 2x. As long as it does not have a constant and it's not squared. Number 7. 3 cups of flour can make 24 cookies. How many cookies could you make with 7.5 cups of flour if the relationship varies directly? Here we're going to set up a table. 3 cups makes 24 cookies. So 7.5 cups would make how many cookies? Alright, we could find our K by taking y over x, which is 24 over 3. So the equation is y equals 8x. If you take 8 times 7.5, you'll get 60. Another way to do this is you could cross multiply and then divide by 3. On number 8, graph the line y equals 3. I'm going to go to my y-axis and go to 3. And this will be a horizontal line. If you're talking about Hoy Bucks, it's y equals, so it's a horizontal line. It also wants us to graph x equals 7. On my x-axis, I go to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is going to be a vertical line because it's x equals. So which one is parallel to the x-axis? Parallel means it'll never intersect. So here's your x-axis. So side by side to that is the y equals 3. Which one's perpendicular? This means it makes a T or it crosses the x-axis, which is this one right here, which is the x equals 7. On number 9, write an equation of a line that's perpendicular to y minus 3 equals 2/3 x plus 7. All we really need for perpendicular is to find the slope. This is point slope form. This 2/3 right here is the slope. Perpendicular tells us to do 2 flips. We're going to flip the sign and flip the fraction. You could keep the rest of it the same, or you could make your own equation. Y equals, to flip 2/3, it becomes a negative 3 over 2, and then x. It doesn't matter what the y-intercept is. This final question, you have to solve each part for y to see which ones are equivalent. You would distribute the 2/3, hip hop, so y minus 7 equals 2/3 x plus 2/3, and then move across. So add 7, so y equals 2/3 x, and this is going to be 7 2/3. I don't normally want to leave mixed numbers, but for this case we can. You then need to solve this last one. We're going to start off with isolate, other side. You write them side by side, which would give us negative 3y equals negative 21 minus 2x. And the final step is to divide. We divide each part by negative 3. So y equals negative 21 divided by negative 3 is a positive 7. Negative divided by a negative is a positive 2/3 x. Now that they're all in y, we can see that this equation and this equation have the same slope and the same y-intercept and are thus the same equation. Study for your test tonight.